Hi, I'm Cassandra Brush, and this is Zero Waste Central, where we talk to people who are contributing to making Central Vermont a zero waste community. Today, I have Kathy Bloom and Nick Lang, sorry Nick. They are co-creators of the game Vermontivate, and they're going to tell us all about Vermontivate and how that's going to help us move towards zero waste. So welcome.
Thank you.
And I'm really glad to have you here.
We're very happy to be here.
Yay. Now tell me, what is Vermontivate?
Vermontivate is a community energy game designed to help people engage the big problem of climate change in a fun, exciting, inspiring way. And what we do is we set up a 5-week game, and we have people engage all different kinds of sustainable living challenges.
Okay.
Everything from transportation to home energy to solid waste, zero waste, and
Yes.
and they get points for engaging with these challenges, and they're playing on behalf of their town. So people are racking up points for their town. At the end of the 5 weeks, the town with the most points, adjusted for population size, gets a community community ice cream party from Ben & Jerry's.
Well, there's the motivation.
Oh my God, you have no idea. Free ice
Yes.
cream, it turns out, is the best motivator ever.
Yes, it is, actually.
Saving the world, that's nice,
Right.
but free ice cream, man, that'll get everybody on board.
So making climate change fun.
Yeah, 'cause
And
climate change is a big bummer, right?
it is.
It's no fun to think about,
yeah.
and it's huge and it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And most people, when you talk to them about it, they'll say, well, I get there's something going on, and I get we have to do something, but I don't know what, I don't know where to start, and I don't know what I could possibly do that would make any bit of difference.
Right.
And having a whole bunch of people playing a game is a great way to have this sort of wave of action, all different people doing all different kinds of things, and all of a sudden, they realize they're part of a movement. And it's really exciting.
So you tricked them.
Yeah, kind of, or bribed them with ice cream,
Right.
whatever it takes.
One of the, you say we trick them, and there is a sort of a magic to what games can do in terms of providing people with ways to start that are little things that people can have the experience of taking on and trying for themselves, having the fulfillment of succeeding in the game.
Right.
And you mentioned climate change is going to take so many different activities from so many different people. A game is a way of bringing people together in a structured experience where it's sort of safe to try new things. A game strips away a lot of the baggage from real life about the day-to-day drudgery, and it invites you to take on new tasks or challenges for the fun of it. If you haven't tried it before, you and other people are going to be trying out new things and telling stories to each other. And because it's a shared experience that the game helps structure for each town across the state, the visibility of those people trying those things, some of which people have already done, but a lot of people don't know about. And so there's an opportunity through the game to trick people into having a positive experience with things that they might not have known about in any other way.
Yeah. We had one woman say last year, I had no idea going green could be so much fun.
Oh,
and that is exactly what I'm having.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So two things. First of all, just clarify that this is online.
Well, it's online and real world.
Okay.
So the main portal for the game is a website,
Yep.
Vermontivate.com.
Can you say that one more time?
Vermontivate. It's Vermont with IVATE at the end, like innovate or not collaborate.
Motivate, cultivate.
Right. Cultivate, yes. Vermontivate.com.
Okay.
And they go to the website if they want to play, and they fill out a profile, kind of like Facebook or any other good social media site. You post a picture of yourself. If you don't have one, we post a picture of a cow's behind.
Well, then you better get one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a nice looking cow. But,
Right,
and
but still.
We ask you to have a secret code name, and you
like
register
that.
with your town, and you join some affinity groups called guilds. So if people are interested in various topics, they can talk to each other across town lines.
Ooh.
And we ask a bunch of questions about if you had $1 million to save Vermont, what would you do?
Right.
And then every week, people they get a series of challenges.
Okay.
And some of them are the kind of nuts and bolts of conservation and efficiency, changing your light bulbs and power strips and recycling and all that kind of stuff. Some of them have to do with building community and reaching out to other people.
Okay.
Some of them have to do with congratulating other people for the great work that they're doing.
Oh,
and some
I
of
like
them have
that.
to do with the arts.
Oh.
And there's a reason behind this.
Okay. Tell me
Nick,
about
you
that.
want to give us the secret sauce here?
Yes.
One of the things that you recognize in the model of change is that decision making is not always a rational endeavor. That people will oftentimes make a decision because of how they feel. And the power of emotions to drive decision making often overrides that which sort of makes pure rational sense.
Good
and
point.
One of the things
Yeah.
that things like the arts and social connection and the community spirit can bring is that emotional context to help people make better decisions driven by those types of feelings.
Wow. So it sounds like an enormous amount of thought went into this
Yes.
and planning.
Yeah.
Um,
Although I tell you, last year, we had been talking for months with various groups of people about putting
Yeah.
a game together. And then at the last minute, it was sort of Nick and I and our web designer, a guy named Bill Finnegan, we're kind of the last people standing. And so we were just trying to put a game together and get the website together and just go for it. And there was no time to really think too hard about it.
Right.
There was no time to do a sign-up period. We were just trying to get the website done.
Right.
And we launched basically on the back of my mailing list, and we launched basically on the back of my mailing list and the Ben and Jerry's Twitter feed.
Oh,
And that's sort of what got the
Wow.
word out. And people
Yeah.
started signing up. Some people didn't hear about us until the second or third week of the game.
and did they sign up
They
late?
signed up late.
Yeah.
Sometimes they didn't play, they just decided to watch.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
said, well, we'll engage next time.
Uh-huh.
But with very little, no money and very little few connections and much, we had 12 towns
Wow.
registered. We had a couple hundred people signed up.
Yep.
And we had people not only playing on behalf of their town, but talking to each other across town lines. So there was this atmosphere of collaborative competition on
Wow.
the site. So we
Yep.
had one woman in South Burlington who was our pointiest player. She inhaled.
Pointiest?
Yeah, she got more
I'm
points
taking
than anybody.
she didn't have spikes.
No. She got more points than anybody. She inhaled the game. She loved it. And you know, when we talked about things like saving electricity in your home, we never tell people what to do.
Right.
We just kind of give them topics, ideas to think about,
Right.
and they can figure out what they want to do for
Yep.
themselves.
Yep.
So when she heard about home electricity use, she realized they leave the lights on in the house all the time. It's her and her husband and 3 teenagers.
Okay,
And so
yep.
she created her own home game called Kill the Bill
Oh, I like it.
that was all about getting people to turn out the lights.
Yep.
And every time they turned out a light, they could stick a piece of paper in a pot, and at the end of the week, they would see who had the most pieces of paper, and they would win a prize.
Ooh, I like it a lot.
And she managed to cut her home electricity bill that first month by
20%.
20%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's significant.
Just by turning out the lights.
Wow.
Yeah. And she had
So-
so much fun.
Yeah.
But she didn't have a team because she
Right.
couldn't get enough people from South Burlington to play.
From South Burlington?
I know.
Shame on you, South
I know,
Burlington.
you'd think. So it was just
You'll have
her.
another chance.
Right.
They'll get it right this time.
Yes.
And so she played on her own.
Right.
But she made friends with people from all over
Right.
the state. And whenever we would have
Yep.
a new topic, she'd never done any of this stuff before, so she was always asking questions and researching stuff. And people around the state who had done things, tried
Yep.
things before, low flow shower heads or backyard garden, herb garden for the first time, would give her all kinds of advice.
Great.
And they were rooting for her.
Wow.
And then we have a great story to tell you, which actually deals with zero waste.
Okay.
So you want to tell the beginning of the story? Maybe I'll jump in.
So, well, just you touch on a few things about how the game is designed. It's not prescriptive. It doesn't say do this and you'll get this many points because,
Right.
frankly, that's not a lot of fun.
Right.
And there is a lot of thoughtful design that went
Yeah.
into allowing people to find things for themselves, recognizing that one solution for one person isn't necessarily the best thing for another.
Right.
And so the game is really about helping people find their own way and helping them
Right.
help each other.
Yeah.
And there's great value and enjoyment in helping someone else. Oftentimes it's more emotionally valuable to contribute to another person's success than to necessarily
Yeah.
find it on your own.
Right.
And so a lot of the fun surprises that we found was that it really worked to a great degree. And one of those examples, one of the early challenges was to watch a short little web video about how, did you know that just by modifying the technique to dry your hands with a paper towel, you only need one. Oftentimes you go to a restroom and you can pull down multiple pieces of paper towel. This little video proposed that you could get away with just one. And so the challenge asked people to try it, and does it work for them? And there was a school down in Brattleboro with a couple of really great motivated teachers who decided to play. They were on the Twitter feed from Ben and Jerry's. They said, that
Oh.
sounds like fun.
And this is a
I got to
classroom
get
of-
on that Twitter feed.
Yeah, it's a fun feed. Classroom of 3 to 7 year olds. It's like
Oh,
a daycare
little
facility.
guys,
Yeah,
yeah.
really little guys.
Oh.
So, and in school, you wash your hands all the time. You get messy
Right.
when you have fun and play a lot. And so the kids would always use a lot of paper towels. After they watched this video, the teacher's like, I wonder if this would work for our kids. And so they tried it. And in their reaction to the challenge, they took pictures of the kids trying it out, giving high fives.
Oh,
and it
cute.
worked really well for them. They had nice little quotes for the kids
Yeah.
and how well they were doing. And they actually dramatically reduced the amount of paper towels they
Wow.
were using on a daily
They were
basis.
throwing away on a daily
Yeah,
basis.
they must have saved a bunch of money on that.
they saved a lot of different things. One of the regulations is that they have to empty their waste paper basket every single day, health code type stuff.
Oh, right, of course.
So
Yep.
they reduced the amount of paper towel that they were throwing away to the point where they had a mostly empty trash can and with a big plastic liner that got tossed out every day.
Wow.
So they actually, and then they started composting the rest of their paper towels.
Oh,
which they've
good.
never
I
done
was going to
before.
ask
Yeah.
about
Which
that.
was another challenge.
Yes.
And that's the sort of things where one thing can lead
Yeah.
to another, and
Yeah.
you feel good, and it just keeps building
So
on itself.
instead of throwing them out, they're reducing them and then composting what they
Composting the
do
rest.
use.
And
So
they-
making a resource out of what was their trash before that.
Exactly, yeah.
Nice.
That's very
Yes.
an industry way to talk about
So
it.
it saves money,
Yeah.
but also the good
Right.
feeling of knowing you're not throwing something away.
Yes.
They actually
Yep.
started a community garden that the
And then-
compost made use of.
Yeah.
And then the kids are actually a part of this, which I love.
Yeah.
So right from that very early age, they're experiencing that they can actually, like create this thing, the compost, that then goes into growing a garden, a community garden. I
Yeah.
like that too.
And so they had to change the size of the waste paper basket in their classroom.
Yep.
And they sent a picture of the original one, which would have been about that big, and
Yep.
then the other one, which is
Oh,
really little.
nice.
So we thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, that
and
is fantastic.
We decided to reward them. We sent them 3 coupons for a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
Nice.
We had a little extra coupon action from
Yay.
Ben & Jerry's. And we said to them, you have a choice here. You can keep them and have a little ice cream party in your classroom, or you can give them away and get points for it. And we thought, they're kids, they'll keep the ice cream.
Right, of course.
But they didn't.
Wow.
The kids themselves
Disciplined
decided
kids.
they kept one for themselves. They gave one to this woman in South Burlington who they thought was really
Oh,
awesome.
nice.
And they gave the third one to the Brattleboro Fire Department just because they like firemen.
Oh, great. I love those kids.
We
I
do
do
too.
want to just say one thing. It's maybe a suggestion for the more advanced challenge. I just read this really, really interesting article about Japan where people carry little cloth towels with them everywhere they go. They don't even have paper towels. And maybe that's a challenge. Like, can you carry your own?
Yeah.
And then just eliminate it altogether.
And that's a great example where we were often surprised at the types of solutions that players would come up with, and
Yep.
that we recognize that we don't know everything.
Right.
There's no way any one person can. But in reaction to the paper towel challenge, some people wrote in and said, "Oh, I just use my pants," or
Okay.
but someone else could actually write in and say, "I have a towel and it works really
Right.
well. I know it's
Right.
mine. I don't have to worry about all those other
Right.
sorts of
Right.
things."
Huh.
And that's where just creating the environment.
Yeah.
And yes, it's online, but it's a real world
Right.
online game.
Right.
It's not
I
an
like that.
imaginary one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Presents an opportunity for people to share and contribute and feel good about the fact that they were to help someone else out
Yeah.
with their problem. And
Wow.
you mentioned that we got a few hundred people playing last year despite not having any promotional time. There were thousands of people that watched. And that's typical for the
Interesting.
online space, where some people play, and we hope as
Right.
many people play the game.
Yeah.
We try to make it as accessible to people
Yeah.
that people that are just starting out, they have things that they can do. People that have already done lots of stuff, there's a lot of things that those people can do. But when you play, because you react to these challenges by telling your story and your experience around the different things that the game puts in front of you, that presents an opportunity for the thousands of people that typically will
Right.
just sort of hide
Right.
behind. They don't necessarily
Right.
want to get involved, but they're interested.
Right.
They get to benefit from that too.
Yeah.
And it's a really powerful mechanism for
Huh,
change.
That's
and
fascinating.
yeah.
So a couple things. One is I'm fascinated that it seems like you've combined social media techniques with gaming, with real world, with changing the world. I love all of that. Secondly, I'd like you to just tell me when the sign-up period starts, how long the game period is, and remind me again how people could get involved.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we are launching this sort of big publicity campaign on Earth Day.
Oh, great.
April 22nd.
Perfect.
So, and the Young Writers Project is going to be creating a prompt for us about solving climate change.
Nice.
That will run through March, and then we're having a little contest, and the winners will each win $50 a piece. 7 winners, $50 a piece means you get $350, and we're we're bringing in this whole concept of 350. Atmospheric CO2 needs to
nice.
be
Wow.
brought down to 350 parts per million. We want to impregnate that. So the winners will get published on Earth Day. We'll have a big
Okay.
launch party, and then people can start signing up then. They can put their teams together. They will have maybe a few pre-challenges. Can't get points, but they'll practice a little bit.
I see.
And then the game begins on Monday, May 13th,
Yep.
and runs for 5 weeks, and
Okay.
ends on the solstice, on June 22nd.
Wow. So I like that people have a chance to just get used to it and comfortable with it
Yeah.
before the game actually begins.
That was one of the things we
Yep.
ran into last year, is because we didn't have the time for that sort of warming up period, people had to get onto the website, and there was some user interface stuff that we didn't nail last time very well because we were scrambling to just get it all done. So hopefully this year we'll have a better website, but people have time to play around on it, get used to it, figure out what our style is. We didn't want to make it too easy because we want people to have a sense of challenge, but we want it to be easy enough so that they don't get onto the website and then just give up, which that happened to a few people last time.
So can a group from, say, National Life or some other like organization, can they get involved as an organization, or is it by town only?
So Kathy mentioned that there are these guilds that allow people to connect to each other, that even if you don't happen to live in the same town. And there's certainly a way that people who, like National Life, that have a social interest in mind, they're already doing lots of things. We design the game in a way that they can get involved and play the game perhaps by just telling more stories and engaging with the game through what they're already doing. There's a lot of busy people out there. There's a lot of opportunities where they're already doing great things, and the game is a way to sort of amplify what they're already doing. So whether it's helping people sign up on the game, learn about what it is, some of our partners are helping us inform the content of the challenges. Like I mentioned, we aren't experts on every single topic. A lot of our partnerships help introduce really meaningful, valuable things that people can start with, as well as those higher level things that we can help drive towards, such that though you're playing a game and it is fun and there's sort of safety in that, there's a comfort level with that, it's real stuff that you're engaging in. And when the game's over, you're going to be familiarized with all of the great infrastructure that Vermont has in a lot of different domains.
It's sort of like how we've talked to you guys about the waste component, going to zero waste. There's only so much we can cover in a week, right? Because every week's going to have a different theme. So there's 4 different streams of challenges, and each stream has easy, medium, hard, and wild cards. There's 16 challenges per week. And people can do all the easy stuff first. They can pick one stream and do all that. They can mix and match. But we know that there are going to be people out there who want to go deeper than they can go in a week. And so we're working with organizations like Central Vermont Solid Waste, we're working with Go Vermont to create information modules that are kind of like little rabbit holes that people can go down. So if they want to sort of do a self-study and get their PhD in zero waste, or, you know.
Which everybody does.
Exactly.
In only 5 weeks. It's really phenomenal.
They'll be able to do that. And that's one of the fun things about partnering with all these different groups, is everybody has something to offer. And we're doing all kinds of crazy networking all over the state.
Yeah, you guys are busy running around.
We have been having more fun. But the best part is that every single meeting we find a way to get to some version of yes. Either they're going to give us, well,
it's a great idea.
There's a lot you can say yes to, so they can give us money, because we have a budget this year, and we need to raise the money for that, but they can also say, we'll put you in our mailing list. We will put you in our newsletter. We will promote the heck out of you, or we'll help give you information. We'll work with you to develop a module so that you have a lot of substantive information to give people.
And I'm just going to back up and do my plug for Central Vermont Solid Waste Management District, which brings you me. And because I don't think people watching know that you folks came to us, and we're partnering with you by providing content and letting people know about what you're doing, because we love it. And there will be that zero waste component in the game.
And Nick and I were so tickled that you let us crash your whole staff meeting.
Was that not typical of how you do it?
Generally, we 1 or 2 people at a time. But the best part was that your reactions were kind of typical of the reactions we get when someone's never heard about what we're doing. So we come in and we start talking, and people sort of start out looking at us kind of squinty, saying, what exactly are you doing? But by the end, everyone's sitting up, and they're smiling,
I can't wait to play.
They're excited, and they want to play, and they want to participate. And we know that we have something good on our hands, because that's what happens with everybody. Everybody gets excited.
It's absolutely inspired. I'm really excited for when it starts. I'll be signing up, and I hope there's at least a half a dozen more Montpelier people.
You know, Montpelier, since you won last year, you've got a cup, you won a big trophy, and you've got to keep it.
Where is it?
Well, it's in the shop right now.
But the trophy's in the shop?
It broke.
Wow, but they were excited.
It's upcycled from lots of other odds and ends pieces.
Really?
It's modeled after the Stanley Cup. It's going to be something that each town gets their name on it each year, and it's going to rotate. It has a bowl on the top for ice cream. It showed up at the party. I don't think we covered the fact that Montpelier did win last year. It was
at the last minute. It was so exciting.
Yeah, wasn't it like neck and neck with Brattleboro?
Brattleboro was ahead for quite a while.
Yeah.
They were excellent players.
Yeah. They
and-
really deserve a lot of props for how well they did.
Way to go, Brattleboro.
But then we issued a challenge in the last week that Montpelier took on with a vengeance. And so the game ended at 11:59 on a Friday night. And by 10:30, Montpelier pulled ahead.
Oh, my.
And we didn't know what was going to happen.
Wow,
It
it's
was
like the
watching-
Olympics.
Yeah, it was like watching a horse race or something. Brattleboro could still pull it out. We don't know what's going to happen.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have to wrap up. Just tell me one more time how people get involved and tell us the website and any other contact information. And also, please just mention if there's an organization or business that would like to financially support you, how that works.
Absolutely.
So the website is Vermontivate.com. That's Vermont and IVATE.com. And there's a lot of information on there. If you want to reach out to us directly, it's info, I-N-F-O, at Vermontivate.com. And again, there's a link on the website. We really welcome anyone who's interested to talk to us now. We're very much still in the phase where we welcome people contributing their ideas and their support in a lot of different ways. We've had a lot of great meetings, as Kathy was saying, with sort of affinity and aligned interests from individuals that really know this stuff and recognize that there's a need that this game helps fill in terms of bringing a positive, emotional, cultural experience on top of all of the good substantive stuff that exists in Vermont.
Right.
So please do feel free to reach out to us through that way, and we'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, and if someone wants to donate money, the nice part is that we've sort of broken down the budget so that there are kind of big charismatic things with a lot of zeros that
Right.
people can fund, but also much, much smaller things with only a couple of zeros or even one that people can fund. So people can get involved in almost any way they can imagine. They can help us come up with ideas, they can put a town team together, they can contribute a little bit of cash. It really, much like solving climate change, it's got to be all hands on deck.
Yep.
Everybody coming from where their passion is, the thing that they care about the most, because that's what keeps people involved.
Great.
And so similarly, there's room at the Vermontivate table for pretty much everyone.
Great.
And again,
love
that's
it.
part of what makes it so much fun.
Yay.
It's a big tent over a big table.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you both.
Thank you.
This is so exciting. Vermontivate.com. Okay.
right.
So thank you. This is Zero Waste Central. Thanks for tuning in.
You could give it to somebody else.
I could. So what's your name?
Miriam.
Miriam, and how old are you?
3.
You're 3.
Yeah.
And do you know anything about saving energy?
All I know about saving energy is just to sit around.